I would definitely recommend getting yourself a mannequin if you are sewing. Whether you're sewing for yourself or you're doing custom designing or you're making samples for a collection, because these particular dolls, they have got the dials inside which you can actually adjust according to body measurements. Now this is well recommended for when you're doing individual custom designing. You can actually adjust the dials according to your client's measurements. And also if you want to do beadwork, you can put your garment over your mannequin, put some cardboard underneath and tack your applique on while they've got a nice curves and the body formed underneath, so that when you're putting your applique on, it actually is a lot more of a smoother fit. Really go a far way with a better fit. You'll feel more confident. You can actually try it onto the mannequin before your client tries it on. It's got the dials you can adjust. I've just put a cover over my mannequin where I've drawn my lines on. I invite you to consider to give me a thumbs up and to share and subscribe if you enjoyed. So here is my adjustable mannequin. Okay, so you can literally adjust the dials to different sizes. So in the dial it tells you the measurements. So for instance, this one has a 92 centimeter bust because I'm a 92 centimeter. So I can change the dial in the center of the bust to 92 centimeters on the sides and on the back. Check my waist measurement, put my waist measurement in and change the dials right around, as well as to the fullest part of the hip. Now I can do this for my clients as well. If they're very busty, I can put another bra on here, put some cups in, just to make it a bit more fuller for the fuller figures. But this is, you know, really a good investment if you are making clothes for clients for custom designing. I do have my normal mannequins, but these mannequins are basically about a size 34. This lady's dress, she's about a size 38, which is a size 14. So you can see it's not fitting properly. So when I'm taking measurements for a custom design, I will take the bust measurement, the shoulder to the apex, shoulder to the waistline, you know, waistline to the tummy, waistline to the hip, the waistline measurement, the hip measurement. If it's going to be a bodice, wherever from shoulder to the bodice measurement. If it's going to be empire, I will take its shoulder over to where the empire line is going to be. I will take nipple to nipple to get the apex. I will even take from under the arm over to the bust, the front measurement. I will do exactly the same in the back, from underarm back, across to the underarm back, shoulder to shoulder, shoulder from the middle down to the waistline. So I'll take as many measurements as possible, and then from waist to hemline, you know, with them wearing a bit of a heel, or whether it's A-line, I'll go out A-line, because you can't keep calling the client back because you didn't take correct measurements. You need to take as many measurements as possible that you can put down on your measurement chart, plus add more measurements, keeping in mind your design. So the other purpose of your mannequin is, now that you've actually made your garment and you did adjust your mannequin according to the measurements of yours, either your sample or for a custom made design, and you can put it onto a mannequin and just double check if the proportions all look good. And then obviously you start pinning any applique that you want to do or any beadwork you want to do, and you can check the hemline, see if it's falling properly. So a mannequin is fantastic for when you are making clothes, custom design, or for your production. So I've just put a cover over my mannequin, and I've also just created arms, which I've just used a stretch fabric. I just created a shoulder and put arms on the side for when I need a balance for the actual, you know, the width of the shoulder line, if I want to put a sleeve in on a garment, as well as proportion the bust cups, which are inside the gown as well. I know that my proportions are correct. One of the other purposes of using a dress mannequin is when you're going to do beadwork. So on top here, I've redone the beadwork. Now I want to do beadwork in the actual waistline going into the first hip area. So you use your mannequin to keep the actual form of a body when you are doing your applique. So what I normally do is I would put in maybe a sort of hardish kind of paper on the inside. So I'm not going to be stitching onto the mannequin. So when I'm tacking on my applique, I'm not catching the mannequin itself. So there I put some paper in, and then I can take my applique and I can place it where I want to position it on for the stitching. You go ahead and you pin it onto your mannequin. So now you've got a body curve as you're busy sewing on your applique. You should invest in getting yourself a mannequin if you are designing custom clothing, or even if you're just making your samples for a production. You go ahead and you pin it, and then of course from that point onwards you can just thread your needle and thread and just sort of tack and work as you're going along, keeping the curvature of a body while you're doing your applique.